So hello, it's Christa Mackinnon again, and I want to share with you another tutorial. This time I want to look at enchantment and 10 ways and practices how you can re-enchant your life. The world has become quite a disenchanted place, and many of us have lost the wonder and the aliveness which comes with being enchanted by the world and by life. If we look at small children, we can actually see how it works and what it does. They are often in an enchanted state when they feel alive, when they are excited, when they giggle, when they look in awe and wonder at something which they like the look of or the feel of. So as time goes by, of course, most of us lose that. But a disenchanted life is a life not worth living, because enchantment is in a way a state of being that really enables us to feel alive and to have access to the full range of emotions. So to express ourselves authentically, and most importantly, of course, to be connected with and experience the wonder and the light of creation, of being an alive being with all that entails. So I want to share with you 10 practices and an 11th one at the end, which will help you to get back a sense of aliveness and being enchanted. And the first is, of course, especially if you're an urban dweller, like most of us are these days, to begin to reconnect with nature and to do that as often as possible. The best way to do that is, of course, to be in nature and connecting to it with all your senses. So see it, feel it, listen to it, connect with it, and begin to understand that you are a part of it. So you can, for instance, try not just to see nature, but also be seen. So immerse yourself completely into nature as often as you can. This is an enchanting practice. The second one is that you, in a way, need to make time to retreat from the sensory input of your surroundings. We all suffer sensory overload, and that not only dulls our senses, it really dulls our ability to just be and to go into our inner world. This sensory overload produces stress and anxieties on a big scale. So making time for stillness, for retreating from the attacks onto our senses is really vital. So the second practice is really being still, retreating from the sensory input of our surrounding on a regular basis. The third practice has something to do with our bodies, and our bodies, if we dig down deep enough on a base level, are energy, and energy needs to move. So we are energetic beings. And if our energy doesn't move, we get stuck and sluggish. The body really needs to vibrate. So anything that moves energy to the body will assist your quest for re-enchantment. So dance, swim, surf the waves, walk along a beach, run, climb a hill, beat a drum, ride a bicycle, whatever else you can think of is fine. The fourth practice I would recommend is really consume less and create and express yourself more. I'm absolutely convinced that human beings are creators that have been turned quite deliberately into consumers. And consumption is a passive act. It is without self-expression. If it nourishes us at all, it nourishes us on the surface and for a very brief period of time. On a deeper level, we get nourished and enchanted by creating and expressing. So anything really goes. Create a garden, paint a picture, express yourself through dance, beat a drum, craft a piece, build something, write. As long as you express yourself in a creative act of one form or another and consume less, you will find a sense of enchantment, a sense of well-being and aliveness returning. The fifth practice is connected in a way to the previous one. Surround yourself with beauty rather than with stuff. Because we consume too much, many of us are really surrounded by a lot of stuff. And stuff blinds us to what is really important. It clutters our space, outside and inside. While beauty, which is everywhere in nature around us, really nourishes our soul. I believe it is in fact our natural state to be surrounded by that beauty. And it reflects the beauty of ourselves back to us. If we surround ourselves more with beauty and less with stuff. The sixth practice is be with your tribe. And again, it is important here to remember that to be with your tribe, you need to get away from your TV, computer, mobile, from your gadgets. Humans are social beings. Naturally, we are not hermits. Also, we do, of course, need time to be alone and come back to ourselves. But in being with other people in a meaningful way stimulates us. It makes us feel embedded in a tribe. It gives us a means to express ourselves and to be heard. It helps us to listen and to learn. And it teaches us to relate whilst expressing ourselves. So finding a tribe, finding people you really like to be with and have things in common with, you have an affinity with, is quite important, and do be with them. Now the seventh practice is connect with the sacred, and I would also say on a regular basis. Most of us really get lost in the mundane, and so our lives become mundane and quite disenchanted. So find a way to connect with the sacred and the magical. Build an altar, create a ceremony, pray, give thanks, meditate, immerse yourself in nature. In fact, we can turn the mundane into the sacred. You plant a plant, eat food, create something, walk in nature, make love. You can do it in a manner that it turns all of this into a sacred act. So whatever connects you with something bigger, higher, deeper, outside your ordinary reality, so that you can experience a connection to something sacred, something more magical, will do. The eighth practice is gratitude and giving thanks. So even in a world like ours right now that requires much transformation and change, individually, most of us have also much to be grateful for, and most of us are stuck in taking our blessings for granted. Practicing gratitude and watching your mood being transformed is quite a magical experience. I, for example, do every morning, just for 5 minutes, a gratitude ceremony. And it really, really helps me. So you can thank the spirits of life, thank your parents, thank your children, Thank everybody who has helped you, guided you, nourished you. And count your blessings often. Write them down. Be grateful for them. Remind yourself. The ninth practice is to find a way to celebrate your life and that you are alive. And only you know how you can do this. So treat yourself to something that gives you pleasure by keeping in mind that you celebrate being alive. Dance your celebration, write about it, play it on your instrument if you play one. Create a ceremony. Climb a hill. Tell the world that you are happy to be alive. This is all about celebrating yourself in whichever way you can do that. Celebrate that you're still here on this beautiful earth and alive. And the 10th practice is about giving. In a world where taking seems to be more rewarded than giving, this might even sound counterproductive. But if you think in terms of enchantment, you will understand that every time you're kind or give or love unconditionally, you also feed your own system with something positive, with joy, with pleasure, and a feeling of well-being. Now, this should not be confused with being a martyr or letting people walk all over you or giving to get something back. It's really quite simple. Just be kind, be giving and loving whenever you get a chance, whenever it feels right. And you feel that it will re-enchant you. And now I think comes the ultimate practice. And this might take a bit of searching, soul searching, and a bit of trying things out and having the courage to go out there and do something. So find a way to contribute, live a life with purpose. People who have a purpose, and that's proven by research, feel better, live longer, and are more satisfied. And I would say they are more enchanted. So find something that is meaningful to you, that gives you a purpose, something that you and only you can give to the world, no matter how big or how small, and no matter where you are and how you do it. And it is never too late for finding a meaningful way to contribute, be it locally, to your specific tribe, to your wider family, to the world at large. You need to remember that you are unique and have something very unique to contribute to the web of life. I would think this is the best practice, finding a way to contribute, beginning to live a life with purpose will really re-enchant you and your life. And as I said, it doesn't matter how old you are, where you are, what you are doing. Go on that little journey, find your gift, work at developing it, and give it to the world. Live a life with purpose, and it will be re-enchanted. So, I hope one or two of these practices made sense to you. If they did, begin implementing. And don't forget the last one.